If you are looking forward to the third fight between Conor and Poirier, then be sure to show this by smashing the like button.
Anything can happen in this game, and
I took the fight and it didn't pay off. This is the fight business. It's another day. I'll come back.
Kul olayım kalem tutan ellere, katip arzu halim yaz yâre böyle, şekerler ezeyim şirin dillere.
Thank you for joining me once again here on Keating K TV. In this video, let us go over why Dustin, the Diamond Poirier, will be able to defeat the notorious Conor McGregor once again. So let us start from the beginning. The leg kicks in this matchup will be the most deciding factor because both competitors, in my opinion, will come out and utilize that technique. Dustin Poirier did it tremendously in the first fight, but now I believe Conor McGregor will come out ready and throw the leg kicks that he has in his arsenal as well. But now the real question lies here. Even though Conor McGregor may come forward and leg kick Dustin Poirier, the reality of the matter is this: at this very moment, Dustin Poirier has this mental advantage going into this fight. Immediately when Dustin comes forward and throws the first leg kick, Conor's mind will be heavily focused on defense, and the more that Conor McGregor is defensively minded, the less threats will be coming the way of Dustin Poirier, and from there, Dustin can utilize all of those openings to set up his own big shots. But the more important part of anything in this matchup is Dustin Poirier connecting with his own leg kicks. So he has to utilize the advantage he has already going into the fight, establish dominance, and then re-establish the damage onto the front leg of Conor McGregor. If he can do this early on, no question about it, in the second and third round, Conor McGregor will start to feel it himself. Even though Conor McGregor is preparing to check those leg kicks, I don't believe that with the style and stance that Conor McGregor has, he is going to be very loose and he's going to be able to check those leg kicks. He has to alter his traditional stance and come up with something a little bit more nuanced to prepare himself to check those leg kicks, because when it comes to Dustin throwing those leg kicks, Conor will be defensively minded. He will be knowing that he cannot make the same mistakes that he did in the first fight. But now let us focus on the real key that got Dustin Poirier the win. It was defense. It was patience. It was not going in on Conor McGregor. It was making Conor McGregor come in on Dustin Poirier, and as soon as he did that, Conor McGregor stayed in the pocket for too long, and he's not a good inside fighter. Dustin is the better inside fighter out of the two, and he showed that by check hooking Conor McGregor all over the octagon. Because think about it this way: when you look up Conor McGregor's highlights and all of his best moments and flashy knockouts and knockdowns, you always saw Conor having the opponent come in on him. Then Conor would slip and counter. Conor got these reactions out of his opponents. He made sure of that. But then all of a sudden, in those fights where he kind of looked flat and not as destructive, for example against passive fighters like Max Holloway, Dennis Sivas, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and even Dustin Poirier himself, in these matchups, Conor McGregor was not able to land a successful counter shot. He was the one forcing his way onto the opponent. And this forward momentum that Conor McGregor carries forward doesn't really carry this destructive and knockout blow that usually comes with the opponent colliding with the forward momentum of the counter strike. Now the only thing that there is this big power punch that is coming the way of Dustin Poirier, and Dustin can see this coming and brace himself. There's no problem with that. He can brace to take the shot better. That is what we saw, especially against Khabib Nurmagomedov. Right away in the fight with Khabib was on the outside, bouncing around, not giving Conor McGregor the opening to counter him. He was always on the outside, and before you knew it, Conor McGregor was throwing high kicks and Superman punches, and he was being being very over aggressive, and because of this, all of Conor McGregor's moves became a lot more linear, and that is when you saw Dustin Poirier exploit that. The more Conor McGregor came forward, the better Dustin Poirier got with countering him, with check hooking him, with being able to slip his shots, be on the outside and be a lot more comfortable. That is when Dustin Poirier got into the fight. So in this trilogy fight, Dustin cannot afford to get countered by Conor McGregor. He has to be on the outside, he has to make Conor come in on him, and he has to make Conor McGregor miss, and he has to counter him. This is what he did in the second fight, and this is what he has to do again in the third fight. Now, Conor McGregor, in my opinion, should be coming into this fight utilizing more kicks, more high kicks, leg kicks, spinning kicks, things of that nature. So being on the outside all fight long perhaps could benefit the kicking range, but in the end, only time will tell what will truly happen. Let us move over to another factor that plays a big role in why Dustin could win. For Dustin Poirier, wrestling in this matchup has to be the priority in my opinion. Aside from not falling into the traps of Conor McGregor, changing up the fight and where it takes place is the biggest accomplishment Dustin can have in the fight. We know that Conor McGregor will come forward. We know Conor McGregor will pressure Dustin Poirier. But with the defense of Dustin Poirier, I imagine that once again Conor McGregor will find the need to force his way in. And as soon as that happens, I believe that Conor McGregor can get taken down by a counter takedown. This may be a flash takedown, this may be something significant, but I do believe in that range something like that will happen. Because when Conor McGregor, for example, in the second fight was in that pocket and was trying to throw the lead uppercut and then follow it up once again, that is a perfect moment for Dustin to switch it up, put Conor up against the fence, try and take him down, just break up the rhythm of Conor McGregor. That is the most important part of this entire wrestling aspect of this fight. However, aside from being defensively sound and trying to capitalize on Conor McGregor overextending and shooting it for a takedown, Dustin Poirier can set up Conor McGregor just the same way. Because Conor McGregor right now, in my opinion, he will be a lot more defensive minded. He will be looking for those openings. And so Conor McGregor, in my opinion, can get set up once again, just like he did in the second fight when Dustin Poirier shot in for a jab and baited out a reaction straight from Conor, and then he shot in on Conor and took him down. I think that will happen again in this matchup. And the more that he can do this, the more he can counter the counter of Conor. I believe Dustin Poirier can make this fight a slow-paced fight and a paced fight where it really benefits his fighting style. And so when Conor McGregor gets taken on again in the third fight, this time around Dustin has to really work on trying to keep Conor down. Conor is a good scrambler, so no doubt Conor will try to get back up immediately, and that is when the most energy will be spent from Conor's side, and that is exactly what Dustin has to repeatedly do. The more that he can do this, the more that he can take away the energy of Conor McGregor, and the more that he can make him tired much quicker, and then he can get back up, throw his leg kicks, and start doing his thing in the stand-up department, because it will be a matter of time before Dustin Poirier makes it out of the first and second round, and from there the real dogfight begins. And I don't believe Conor McGregor can beat Dustin Poirier in a dogfight. He's not able to scrap it out in the close range, and if he can't knock him out early on in the fight, it will be a really tough fight for Conor McGregor to regain. Unless he fights a very calm fight that is ready for 5 rounds, I don't really see Conor going 5 rounds, and even if he tries to apply a Nate Diaz 2 type of a fighting style, I don't believe that fighting tempo will really benefit him, because even in the second fight against Diaz, he gassed out. Now, Conor said against Dustin Poirier that he felt really good in the second round. He was not even sitting on a stool. You know, he came out pretty fresh, he said. But if you really took a closer look, you can see him taking a deep breath. And then if you take a look at Dustin Poirier, he wasn't breathing that hard. So what I'm really trying to say is that ultimately Dustin Poirier will have the stamina advantage, because just in the manner Conor McGregor fights at, it just uses up a lot of fast twitch muscles. He's very explosive, and being very explosive takes a lot of energy out of you. So naturally Conor McGregor is not going to be up there in terms of endurance as Dustin Poirier is. And immediately when that happens, Dustin Poirier can pick up the tempo, try and put Conor up against the fence, take him down, smother him, and potentially get a submission victory or another TKO win. But ultimately, in the end, only time will tell what will truly happen. For now, we'll leave in the comment section down below who you think will win come fight night. I believe that Conor McGregor will make the right adjustments, present new threats to Dustin Poirier with his kicking game and his patience and his range, and being as fit as he was in January. I believe in July he will be even fitter after that second training camp. So we'll see. But until then, I have been Keenan from Keenan KTV, signing off. Later.